legislation in the last General Assembly session that would have allowed adult students, over 21 students, graduate students, faculty, who already had Virginia concealed weapons permits to carry on campus. One of them might well have been in that hall and might have been able to put a stop to the tragic events.
So you're saying 21 years and older,
well,
not all students?
No, of course.
Yeah, that'd be chaotic, wouldn't it? All students.
You cannot possess a handgun under federal law unless you're under parental supervision, unless you're 21 or over. And of course, you can't get a concealed carry permit in Virginia either unless you're over 21.
And what was funny is approximately 3% of Virginians conceal handguns. Now, if you take that and apply that to the subdivision of 21 and older, percentage still applies because that's your 21 and older. Then I took that and applied it against Virginia Tech student ratios over 18, over 21. Well, it turns out to be, since there was 104 people in the hall on the day of the tragedy, 1% chance of somebody having a concealed handgun permit in that building. Now, if you had the choice between a 1% chance of survivability or 0 chance, which would you take?
Well, I think what's really sad is that they didn't even have the right. They just had to die like that. They didn't even have a choice.
Well, what would be
make that decision for themselves?
Alternative solution? More uniformed, well-trained police officers?
Well, sir, that would be my question to you. What would be an alternative?
Or
since
citizens,
the police weren't there,
well,
the police can't be everywhere.
I understand, yeah.
What would your alternative be?
Why not deny the killer the right to get the gun so easily?
Well,
it's not easy.
Considering that,
ma'am,
whether you have problems with it or not, his purchases at that time were completely legal.
Right.
From the first shot until the police arrived.
What would your alternative be?
Right.
Well,
given your background, how would you handle this situation so that you could ensure the safety and well-being of people when the police are only responsible for responding to an incident? They have no obligation under law to protect anyone, not any one individual. They are not going to be there unless you summons them, and they can't be there instantaneously when you do summons them. What would you do? How would you handle it? You have an extensive experience in law enforcement and dealing with people who do not obey the laws.
Well, the position that we take is that Chow or people like him shouldn't have a gun.
Well, the position you take doesn't answer my question. How would you handle the situation that did take place?
Avoiding the situation from happening.
Well, you can't avoid it because it did happen. What would you do to make it possible for less people to die, less people to be injured?
We're here today to avoid that situation from occurring.
By taking people's rights away so they can be butchered by people who are going to get guns anyway.
We're here today to prevent situations from occurring.
How would you do that?
People having guns that should not have guns.
Okay, what about the people who should have guns?
Thank you very much.
What about the people
Joe
who
bought his
should
gun
have
at a gun store with a background check, ma'am. He didn't buy it at a gun show from a private seller.
I'd like to know who should have guns. Can you give me a list of qualifications?
People who do not qualify, who come to gun shows and buy guns without adequate check.
Without an adequate check? Everyone who goes and buys a gun from a vendor has to go through a federal and state check. What's not adequate? Please tell me how you would handle the situation in a manner that would provide for the safety of the people.
So my understanding is, which would I prefer if I was a graduate student at Virginia Tech?
You are qualified for the Commonwealth of Virginia to carry a firearm.
I understand.
One concealed carry permit holder somewhere in that line, 32 victims, might have stopped this man. And I agree, he had no reason to have a firearm. He was not qualified. But it didn't happen at a gun show. He passed your background check. Now, your background check at a gun show Do you want a background check on every individual that sells a gun anywhere in Virginia? If I sell a gun to my neighbor, should he have to pass a background check? That's your view. Don't you think that's a violation of Second Amendment?
No. Okay, see you.
Why they won't answer the basic question is one
I saw in some announcements, but it
to
wasn't
allowing
actually
an individual to defend themselves because the police can't be there to defend them.
So the website to go to. This is on VCDL.
I'm sorry.
Saying nothing about it.